So today we're going to talk about how to burn your belly fat extremely fast. This is an extension of a previous video I did on 5 important tips. So today we're going to cover the 6th through the 10th tip. But let me just do a quick recap for those of you that have not seen the first video, and I will put a link down below because that's a really important video that you get as a foundation, okay? All right, tip number 1. If our goal is to burn the most fat, we want to get the body into a state of ketosis. And ketosis is keeping your carbs very, very low, okay? And I'm talking about your net carbs. Net carbs are the total carbs minus the fiber carbs. And there are certain carbs that you don't count as a part of a ketogenic plan. And those are the leafy green salads. But we don't count those carbs because we want to include those carbs because of the amount of potassium, magnesium, vitamin C, and a lot more nutrients, including the phytonutrients. So salads, even though they're mostly carbohydrate, they're the type of carbohydrates that are not going to be a problem. They're not going to raise insulin. So if you have a large salad, you're eating a lot of fiber that, even though it's a carbohydrate, it won't trigger insulin. So fiber and fat are the 2 things that won't trigger insulin. And this is why you want to put olive oil on the salad as a pure fat. So that way we don't trigger insulin as well. And then on top of that, we want to put vinegar. You can do balsamic or apple cider vinegar because vinegar is another thing that is really good to help regulate your blood sugars as well as lower insulin, despite you even eating some carbs. So that vinegar is going to be very, very important. And the other tip I'm going to recommend is eat your salad first, then the protein and fat. Because if you do it the other way around, eating your protein or fat first, you may not be hungry enough to finish the salad. And of course, I do recommend 7 to 10 cups of salad per day. It might seem like a lot, but when I talk about 7 or 10 cups, I'm talking about small handfuls. Okay, so it's not that much. Next thing is protein. The size of protein you need is between 3.5 ounces to 6 ounces, maybe 7 or 8, depending on your size. So if you're a male, you need the protein the size of the palm of your hand times 2. If you're a female, just have 1 serving of protein the size of the palm of your hand, just to keep it really, really simple. If you were to do no fat protein, like whey protein powder, you would trigger insulin a lot more than if you had some other fatty meat or fattier protein. So make sure that if you're eating chicken, you have the skin on it. Make sure if you have fish, have the skin on it, and consume the fattiest fish that you can find. Like sardines are really good in their own oil versus just in water. And either eat a fatty steak or maybe hamburger with higher amounts of fat. This is just going to keep your insulin levels the lowest possible. All right, number 3 is dietary fat, okay? You want to, especially in the beginning of this program, add more fat to your diet. And the reason for that is that it will allow you to fast longer. You see, as soon as you adapt to ketones, 2 things will happen. Your cravings go away, and your appetite goes away, making it very, very easy to stick to this program and not go off the program. Can you imagine doing a program with cravings? I mean, it's like torture. All right, number 4, we talked about nutrients when you're doing this. Make sure you do electrolytes as well as B vitamins. I recommend nutritional yeast as one good source of natural B vitamins. Both of these sets of nutrients, the minerals and the B vitamins, will prevent most side effects from doing a fat-burning ketogenic plan, like keto fatigue, keto rash, keto flu. And as an important part of these nutrients, sea salt is also very important because what happens as you reduce your carbs, you're going to reduce a lot of fluid in the body. And with the loss of fluid comes a loss of electrolytes and salts. And if you don't add those back in, you might do this fat burning program and feel kind of weak, feel some lethargy, etc. So make sure you take these nutrients as you do the ketogenic plan as well as doing fasting. All right, and number 5, make it interesting or add some type of food that mimics or resembles some of these pleasure foods that they had. For example, I like to do chocolate after I eat. Of course, I don't do this late at night, and the chocolate is totally keto friendly. It doesn't have any actual sugars. It has sugar alcohols. It also does not have these new fibers like the soluble corn fibers or the tapioca fibers or the dextrin. You want to leave those out of that chocolate. So sometimes as a little dessert that keeps it really kind of pleasurable, I'll mix some whole cream with pecans and some keto-friendly chocolate chips. For me, that is the best dessert. All right, that was a quick summary of 1 through 5, okay? Now let's go to 6. And 6 is reducing your stress. What you might not realize is that experience stress, especially chronic stress, is almost equivalent to consuming sugar. Number 6, stress also relates to 7, which is sleep. The more stress you go through, the less sleep you're going to have. When you don't sleep well, you have higher levels of cortisol. This is why people want to snack if they're tired, because of this darn cortisol wave that comes up and down. Not to mention, most of the fat that you burn is while you're sleeping, not during the day. So anything you can do to get a little more sleep will definitely help you, and you won't be as hungry because the appetite will be down. Number 8 tip, at the very heart of the problem with trying to lose weight is this thing called insulin resistance. Okay, that is the real cause of what's going on in your body. First of all, on a regular basis, you add apple cider vinegar, like a tablespoon in water, okay, throughout the day. That is going to help regulate your blood sugars, and it's going to make insulin more sensitive, so it doesn't go too high. It'll go lower, so it'll lower blood sugars and insulin. And then also cinnamon within your foods is a very potent spice to help lower your blood sugars, okay? Like a little cinnamon toast. I'm just being sarcastic, okay? Don't do the toast. You can put cinnamon on all sorts of things, and I have a video on that as well. The next thing is chromium as a supplement, okay? Chromium picolinate supports the beta cells, the cells of the pancreas that produce insulin. That can help you as well. Vitamin D is another thing that can help the pancreas lower insulin. Potassium from the salads you're eating, the electrolyte powder, can significantly improve your blood sugars. And then vitamin B1 is also really important in helping with insulin resistance. All right, number 9, exercise. But you want to do that so you're really breaking down the body. So in the repair process, you have this huge spike of growth hormone, which also is going to mobilize a lot more fat. In number 10, periodic prolonged fasting. This is pure dynamite. I'm assuming you're doing regular intermittent fasting, hopefully maybe 1 meal a day called OMAD, but at the very minimum, 2 meals a day. Try to squish those together. But the periodic prolonged fasting is the icing on the cake. Every 2 weeks, do a 48-hour fast. Now, what's going to happen is you're going to mobilize a lot more fat and speed things up. And as you do this, you're going to get more comfortable to the point where you might be able to do it once a week. So on the weekends, it's a 48-hour fast. Here's the principle I really want you to focus on. Don't eat unless you're hungry. You have to realize when you're not hungry, your body is eating its own fat. And that's a healthy thing. It's mobilizing all this fat. And why mess it up with a meal? Okay, because every time you eat, regardless of what you eat, you're going to actually raise insulin to a certain degree. So for those people that need to lose a lot more weight, might as well take advantage of the loss of appetite, because what is the point of eating if you're not hungry? Your body is eating. I guess it's just something people think that, well, I just have to eat because of nutrients. Well, you can take nutrients. Why do you need the other foods? You only need them if you need energy, but your energy is coming from your fat.